Welcome to Barn Bike Builds. I'm Mason, and today is a fun day. We've got a bit of a road trip going on. Something's going in the back of that trailer there. Anyways, truck's been acting up. We're going over 3 hours away and traveling back, so let's see how this trip goes. One of our goals when we first got this farm was to make it a public place, somewhere people could come, feel comfortable, and visit and just enjoy it. I mean, it's a lavender farm, so we were wanting to attract people who appreciated that beauty. And so we knew immediately that we had to have facilities on the farm that could provide for that. So we got it in our head, we wanted an outhouse. So interestingly enough, it took about 1.5 years to find what we wanted. Because you explore the ideas of the blue barrel. It never quite was what we were looking for. And then Abigail found something on Facebook. So she contacted the guy and we ended up buying an outhouse. So take a look at this thing. Custom built for us. It's gorgeous. Anyways, when we went to pick it up, this is the fun part. When we went to pick it up, we're getting it and we take a trailer, load it up. And while we're there, he's got a workshop. And in his workshop, he has a wood burning stove. So we made the deal with him to make a few payments on the wood burning stove and come back and buy that. I'll show you that in a second. This is our wood burning stove. We got it to put into one of the barns out here to turn into an off-grid cabin. This right here is the one we decided on. It is probably the most secure, but it still needs some work. We are going to insulate the walls and shore up the roof. There's a little bit of an issue over there in the corner, but make this a nice livable space that'll be warm and comfortable in the winter. We live a little rural, so when it snows or ices over and we lose power, this is probably the last place to get power back. Anyways, stay tuned. That's forthcoming on the channel. While we were picking up the wood burning stove, the gentleman we purchased it from had left it put together in his workshop so we could see how it goes apart in order to put it back together. So we're in there and we're taking it apart, and this 10-year-old boy walks up and says, "My dad don't believe it's $650. So the gentleman turns to him and says, "It's $650. Well, the kid says, "Can I film you?" And he pulls out his camera real quick and puts it in his face, and the gentleman turns toward and says, "It's $650. Kid walks away mumbling something, and so we turn and say, "What was that all about?" And he says, "Well, I've got a bike out back," and he thinks he's going to buy it. We finish taking it apart. I sneak around the back of his workshop to see what it is. Because this was a 10-year-old kid, I kind of expected it to be a dirt bike. It wasn't. So I came back around. My eyes were all big, and Abigail goes, "What?" And I said, "Oh, you've got to see that." So she walks around and looks at it while the gentleman and I start loading the wood burning stove into our van. Anyways, about this time, the kid walks back and says, "My uncle's going to come get it." And I said, "Yeah, probably." I'm thinking this in my head. And anyways, the gentleman, after the kid walks away again, turns and says, "They're not going to buy it. I know that family. They're not going to buy it." So we finish loading up. I look at it again, really excited. And I basically, Abigail and I kind of agreed, like wordlessly, to maybe try and get it. So as we're about to leave, I say, "Look, if they don't buy it, let us know. We're interested." So we're about an hour down the road because it was a long trip. I turned to her and said, "Why don't you write him and see if he'll take a couple of payments on it?" She says, "Okay." So another hour down the road, I turned to her and said, Well, what did he say? She said, I didn't write him. I said, well, give me his number. I'll write him. And she said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So that was a Saturday, and Sunday comes along. I talk about how nice this bike was, but we don't talk about purchasing it. Monday, about lunchtime, I write Abigail and say, so did you actually contact him? She responds, yeah, he sold it. I'm like, okay. I kind of figured, even though he said that family wasn't going to buy it, I thought they would, because that was a good deal. Well, later that night, middle of the night, she wakes me up and says, we got to talk about something. I'm like, uh-oh, what now? And she says, I lied to you today. Wait, what? Yeah, he didn't sell the bike. Well, actually, he did sell the bike. He sold it to me. I went, oh, okay, I got you. I bought it for you as an anniversary gift. Well, this was kind of convenient because we had a 5-year anniversary cruise planned that has just recently been canceled. So let me share with you what she bought me for the 5-year anniversary. So when the cruise you plan for your 5-year anniversary gets canceled, this right here is what your wife ends up buying you to make up for it. It's a 1999 Honda Shadow. It needs a tiny bit of work, but to all knowledge, it is operational. Gotta drop a battery in, clean out the gas tank, clean the carbs, change the spark plugs. I'm a very lucky man. So if you like the kind of content we have here, subscribe to the channel and go ahead and like the video. If you have any suggestions on what I should do with this bike, go ahead and comment below.